Hey there guys, how's it going? Reaper here, back with another painting video. And this is the Spartan Warrior from the Females Fighters set from Bones 4. Which is quite a mouthful, so Spartan Warrior will do. We've primed it in our standard grey as we usually do. And I'm starting with Abomination Gore for all of the red areas. Because she is essentially wearing Spartan armour, but in full plate mail version. So red was their dominant colour, so I went with that. And I'm starting with red instead of armor because I need this layer of red to be dry before I can move on to the next part of red, because I wanted to do the cloak a bit more fancy-ish than what I normally do. That was it for the red. Then we're moving on to plate mail metal, which is for majority of the mini now. But I do add some gold in just to add a little bit of flair and a bit more like what's the word? A bit more fancy. And it breaks it up a lot more to give that contrast, which is the main real reason. But most of the armor, most of the body is covered in armor, so it's a lot of silver. There we go. That is almost all of the metallics now. And as you just saw as well, if you get metallics on something that you've already painted, if you're quick enough, you can quickly just rub it off. You don't actually need to wet the brush and dry it. Just rubbing it off works absolutely fine. But now the metallics are done, we're on to leather brown. This is for the underlayer of her legs and the boots. You could also do the arms, but I actually do them as flesh tone just to break it up a little bit. And that was it for the leather brown. Now moving on to barbarian flesh for the hands, face, and I don't paint it here, but I do later on because I miss it out, is underarms as well. So like sort of top of the arms aren't covered with anything. So I paint them on, well, you can paint them in now and you probably should. I forgot. So they get done off camera a bit later on after a few other colours. that was it for Barbarian Flush. Then we're on to Greedy Gold, and this is to add a little bit of variance and a bit of highlights to the pretty much boring metallic areas because there's nothing else there. So I do the knee pads, the helmet, the sword, and I also do the markings on the shield in this gold. There we go. Now that the gold is done, I move on to the first highlight of the cloak, which is Dragon Red. And this covers majority of the actual cloak, but obviously leaves out the recessed areas and a little bit extra because the wash will eventually fade into those recessed areas. So if you do a bit more than what you would expect the wash to cover, it then looks more of a sort of tonal blend. And as you can see as well, I have gone back and now done the underarms. Now also this highlight is only for the actual cape because I want a distinct difference between the headpiece and the cloak, just to make it look a bit more, well, varied and not a single piece of fabric. And then we're on to the next highlight for this. Do wait for it to dry. I did wait before just whacking this on, but I've gone for pure red for a much higher area of the cloak, so only the upper, the raised areas and the edges. There we go. Now that's done, I move on to dark tone for the entire mini apart from the cloak and the headpiece. Everything else gets covered in black wash. Actually no, I do miss out the hands, which are washed with a red wash afterwards. The face, of course, there is no point in trying to fit a wash into that small gap. So if you use a black wash, it'll work absolutely fine because you can't see much of the face once the mini's done, and especially at a distance. Because you got to remember, when these minis are on the table, you're not looking at them up close. You're a good 2-3 feet away while you're actually using them. There we go. Then we're on to red tone for everything that is left. So that's hands, underarms, cloak, and headpiece. I do also, I tried that out. Doesn't really do much, and I do end up taking a lot of it off because I don't like the way it looks. But in the end, it does turn out okay. And that was it for the washes. Now we're on to the last part of the mini, which is matte black for the base. there we go. That is mini complete and ready to get on the table and, well, slay lots of people, as fighters do. It's been a nice simple mini, so it's a good one to get started with if you're new to miniature painting. But if you enjoyed, guys, like, subscribe if you did, and I will catch you soon in the next one. See ya.